Hey guys, this is Pastor Rachel here with this week's Deeper Dive. And in our Deeper Dive videos, we take a closer look at either a point from the Sunday sermon, something that didn't make it into the sermon, and we just take a closer look at it, hone in on it. Today we're going to be looking at something from the sermon. So the sermon this past Sunday was called The Art of Making Space. And today we're going to be talking about a specific question that was posed, a statement that was made in the sermon, and that's this. If you can't love somebody who is different than you, who does know Jesus, how are you going to love somebody who is different than you, who doesn't? And so I want you to just take a second, let that question just ripple through you. If you can't love somebody who's different than you, who does know Jesus, how are you going to love somebody who's different than you, who doesn't? Because if we're honest, a lot of times we are drawn to people who are like us. It's easy to love people who are like us because they just get us, right? And our relationships with other believers should be like that. Love should flow naturally because even though we're different, even though we are different races, genders, of different socioeconomic statuses, have different backgrounds, all of those things, even though we have all of those differences, we still have the greatest thing in common, and that is Christ and his love for us. And so if we have trouble doing that thing that is supposed to be easy, how are we going to do something that's harder? It's like if you're playing a video game, right, and you have it set to like the easy level. You probably, if you were having trouble with that, you probably wouldn't think you would do very well at the harder level, right? Or if you're on a hiking trail, if you're on a beginner's hiking trail and that's kind of hard, you're probably not going to expect to do very well at a more advanced hiking trail. But the thing is, we don't have the option of not doing the harder thing. We don't have the option of opting out of loving when it's hard. We don't have the option of opting out when we're loving people who are different than us. We don't ever have the option of opting out of loving someone. I mean, Jesus certainly didn't. Jesus didn't opt out of loving anyone. And so we don't have that option either. We have to learn to identify who might be on the fringe. We have to learn to identify the people who are different than us. We have to learn to identify the feeling inside us that rises up, that feeling that is sometimes fearful or hateful or has prejudices or biases. And we have to check all of those bags at the gate. And when we feel like we want to pull back because something is hard or somebody's different, we have to lean in with a posture of love and a posture of grace. And one of the best ways that we can do this, one of the best ways we can lean in is being curious about the people that are different than us. Some of the best conversations that I have had have occurred because somebody was different than me. Maybe it was the way that they thought. We had different opinions about something, but we were just different. And either they chose to be curious or I chose to be curious, and it resulted in a really good conversation and deepening of our relationship. You know, right now it's February 1st, so we just entered Black History Month. And today, this month might be a really good time for you to be curious and learn something new about somebody who is different than you. The bottom line in all of this is that we are called to love one another, not in a fluffy or superficial way, but in a way that is genuine and authentic. And we do that by loving, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. We do that by leaning in. We do that by being curious. We do that by being attentive. And so I want to encourage you in that this week. Love those who are different than you. Love like God does. Thank you guys for joining me for this deeper dive. I will see you real soon. Have a great week.